Hi, welcome to episode 15 of Continental Drift Knits. Well, it's been a hot minute, hasn't it? I think I was last with you on the 25th of November and it's now the 8th of May. So I'm Lisa. If you're seeing me for the first time, welcome. If you're coming back from another time to say hi and sit and have a cuppa and do some crafting, or just stare into space at your TV or phone and not do anything, that's fine. Welcome back. And I was incredibly nervous this morning. I was like, I felt sick. I've done this before. Anyway, enough. Let's get on with the knitting and the crafting. I'm being very multi-craftual at the moment. So what's been happening? Well, I'm based in New Zealand still, but we've spent a lot of the last 6 months in Australia. We've been brewing, or my lovely daughter has been brewing a beautiful new FO, and that's our little bee. And he arrived 9 days ago now, 9 or 10 days ago. And so we've been very, very busy. And she's an absolute warrior. So I'll talk more about them later. But that's sort of taken up a lot of our focus. Lots of looking after toddlers, 3 and 5-year-old. And being here for summer, because we've just finished our summer in Australia and New Zealand. And so we were in Australia all over Christmas, New Year and summer. It was very busy and I just didn't get to film. And then I went back to New Zealand for about 6 weeks and thought, okay, I'm gonna get on with it. I'm gonna do some videoing, and I got sick. And I will have the odd cough, so I'm really sorry about that. But I've been coughing for about 6 weeks. So I thought it was about time, because I have a very exciting month ahead. I have an incredible month ahead, but you'll have to listen for that later, because I'm going to get on with some knitting, because I don't want to talk about what I'm going to do in the episode. I just want to get on with it. So I have lots of finished objects, actually lots of little finished objects. I don't have them all with me. Probably the biggest finished object, which you haven't seen, is my Rhue sweater, Rhue, by Rebecca Clow, and who is the creabea. And I did a test knit for her and I really enjoyed it. I'm going to put some pictures here. It was knit in Gilliatt, I think. I can't remember. Everything's in my Ravelry. It's all down below. If you can't access Ravelry, just let me know and I can give you any details you want to know. You can contact me. So my Ravelry is CDK Podcast. Continental Drift Knits was too long. So CDK Podcast on Ravelry, Continental Drift Knits on Instagram and Facebook, I think. And there's an email address too, which is down below if you need me. So let's get back to the Rhue sweater. So the Rhue sweater was a great test knit, really enjoyed it. It was incredibly challenging. I found it very challenging. It was me, not Rebecca, but it is a very beautiful sweater. I think I've been thinking about sweater fit, and I've been thinking about what would you call it? Which style of sweater? You know, we're talking about circular yoke, combination circular raglan, drop shoulder, set-in sleeve, contiguous sleeve construction. So they're all different sweater constructions or jumper constructions. And I really am thinking I like quite a relaxed fit over my body. So I'm thinking I really would like going forward, I think I try and think about the jumpers I wear the most. Jumpers are sweaters, by the way. And what I wear the most is probably a drop shoulder or a raglan. So I'm interested in why that might be. I'm not sure why a set-in sleeve feels different. I've been learning a lot about fit from Kim from Indigo Dragonfly. You can look her up on Instagram. So interesting, just so interesting. Yes, but the Rhue sweater is really beautiful. And I loved making it, and I think I knit it twice because I kept making mistakes, and that was my problem. I was not reading the pattern properly. And yeah, so it's come up really well. It's sort of gone away. It's actually in New Zealand. I haven't got it with me. I'm in Australia at the moment, and this is my wool wall. I think I've showed you this before. But yeah, the Rhue sweater was one that I really enjoyed. I made a little flax jumper in alpaca for my daughter-in-law's, one of my daughter-in-law's best friends, who we also know. So she had a little girl. What else? I've got my Ravelry here. I made a little hat for my oldest grandson. These are the ones I don't have with me. I made a muscle bra. Don't have that with me. I can't remember whether the Agneta was finished. I think it was, but if it wasn't, I'll revisit that. The Miles shirt jacket, I don't know whether I'd finished that also, but we can revisit some of this stuff. Otherwise, the episode's going to be really long. But the main one that I finished that I haven't yet sewn the ends in, and I finished it, let me just have a look. I finished it on December 1. So you saw it in production, and that is my EXP, everything's beside me here. This is my EXP sweater by Susanna Kaartinen. All the details will be below in the description, and it's beautiful. So you'll remember I did I started a Naima DK pullover. Who's that by? Anchor Strict? Heidi Kermeyer? Is that by Heidi Kermeyer? I can't remember. Actually, I've got it here. Let me double check. Okay, I'm back. Yes, the Naima Fade pullover was by Agastrick, and that is still on the top of my queue. I really want to knit it. I think it's a beautiful jumper, and it will suit me really well. But it pulled. I don't know whether you can see that. It pulled, and it did awful things, and it didn't look any good in that particular. I think I'm not a superwash jumper type of person, really. So what I did was I combined this with John Arbon yarn. That's the dark green colour, and it was such an interesting construction. I think I talked about it in my last episode. So you start up here with all, and that becomes, so all the neck stitches become your sort of raglan strip, huge raglan strip. And then you do a little bit of sewing there, and then you go on. Now, I was really worried about this because it was very, very skinny. Like, it was very negative ease, and I'm not a negative ease sort of person. So, but when I washed it, because I think it's like I'm not going to say, but it's like a half fisherman's rib type thing. Or it's not brioche, but it's got that super stretchy sort of construction, and it blocked out incredibly. In fact, I'm going to put I don't know whether I took a video or whether I just took pictures, but I'll put in here about now the diff, and I'm not sure how much that's going to change. So at the moment, there's no real positive ease, but you can see it's a really nice detail that. See, at the moment that's very fitted, so I'm not sure whether that's sort of going to go to there. Maybe I'll block it and see. But I really like the neckline. I think it really suits. I'm not so sure about the fittedness. It's very fitted at the moment. So, morning. Thought I'd try it on after blocking. I think you'll notice a really big difference. Crazy, hey? Look at that. I doubted you, Susanna. And that will eventually go up there. But remember what I was saying, that was sitting up about there. And now it's sitting down about there. So if I want bracelet length, it's not that far to go. Pretty happy. Difference between the two was incredible. I could not believe it. So yeah, so that fits quite well. And I faded down into a darker, and all my quantities and everything are on Ravelry. So I'm very happy with that. The EXP sweater. So that was really good. I'm just trying to think what else I finished in that time. I finished, the other one. I have finished a little Christopher Bunny. Now, Christopher Bunny is by Susan B. Anderson, and I did him, I've decided it's a him. I did him in, he's so cute. I did him in Wooldreamers Dehesa de barrera, the body, in a sort of, he's a minty colour. It's a bit hard to see, looks a bit cream. Don't know. And then his outfit was in Ulysse. If you can hear construction noises, my husband is creating a little nook in the garage, like that, and he's creating space, which is what we need. So yeah, so the only problem I'm having is I'm supposed to put a little nose there, a little sort of, you know, the little Y, upside down Y shape. And I've tried a few and I don't like them. So I'm trying to figure out how to do it. But he's very cute. And he's for our new little bubba in the tail. Very easy too. So yeah, it's very cute. So he's the bunny. The Rhue sweater we talked about. The Musselburgh we talked about. Oh, the only other little one I've got for you is the Puerperium Cardigan. So this is in Alpaca Baby Eco Baby Alpaca. It's an Isager yarn. I think it's got cotton in it. It's very, very, very smooth. And it just needs a couple of little buttons, and I've picked those out last night, and I'll sew them on in the next 24 hours and get the baby wearing them, because he's getting big. In 10 days he's grown already, so that's for my bubba. A bit hard to show, isn't it? So what I can't show is how soft it is. It's very soft, very lovely. So that's a Puerperium cardigan. And again, all the details are below. Okay, I think that's sort of all the, the biggest FO. So this took me a couple of months. This one, so all of the grandchildren so far, 3 of them, have had their own special blanket made. So I've done heirloom family blankets for the family and that sort of stuff. The first baby got a couple of blankets, but this baby got one. It's going to get more difficult, I figure. I really love the Artus shawl, and we'd started something else. We'd started a sweet shop blanket, and I was going to use that, and that was going really well. I just thought, yeah, I wanted to do something a bit more spectacular. So I did an Artus modification and modified it for a blanket. So what I did was I measured the middle of the oaken. I got the oaken blanket by Tin Can Knits, has a centre and then a big lace detail panel right round it. And so I thought the centre would be about the right size for the waffle stitch that's on the Artus. I decided to do it in felted tweed, Rowan felted tweed. I have a lot of felted tweed. In the end, I didn't use an awful lot of mustache. I had bought 5 balls of a sort of a deep, sort of a burgundy, rusty sort of colour. Last year, I was going to do a Calypso, I think, Calypso jumper. But anyway, I decided to use that as the base colour for the blanket. So I already had that, and I already had the grey-white sort of colour. But I went and chose 3 other colours from our local store here in Hastings. And it was my first mosaic pattern. Now, initially, I did stuff up a few numbers, and I would do it a little bit differently now, just to allow for a few extra increases to get my numbers right to go into the pattern. But it's all worked out. No one would know. It's, as I said, it's my very first mosaic knitting product, and mosaic is quite different to colourwork. Initially, as I started, I thought, well, why wouldn't you just do this as colourwork? I don't understand. The charting of mosaics is a bit different. It looks like there are consistencies about how mosaic's charted. So once you learn how to do that, then I think you'd be right. But it was really challenging to begin with, super challenging. And this is it. Isn't it good? So I wanted something that was a little bit, not masculine. We knew he was a boy, and not masculine, but I didn't want baby colours. I've never been one for baby colours. So this is what I chose. It's very hard to get a sense of it. I'll pop some pictures in. Maybe that's easier. But yeah, it's quite big, and I'm really happy with it. So just to show you the back, it is stranded like colourwork, but I think where mosaic is different is it pops. So because you're doing, when you only ever deal with one colour at a time, that's where it's very different from colourwork. But when you're dealing with, say, the greeny yellow, you do 2 rows with only that colour. So that colour sort of comes to the fore, and it sits up higher, because when you then come in with the grey-white, it's sort of, I can't describe it, because you do 2 rows and then you're sort of slip stitching, so you're holding it up over the other stitches, and you get this a little bit of a, I don't know whether I can show it. You get a little bit of a, this has been blocked and washed and actually been used. It's been on his crib and he's used it, but it sort of is 3D. Nah, you're not really getting a sense of it, but yeah. I was really happy with my corners. I thought I did really well. I sort of had to make up how I was going to do the I-cord around the corners. And it's a 7-stitch I-cord. As a waffle pattern in the middle. And then the mosaic colourwork. And then an I-cord, 7-stitch I-cord at the back, on the edge. Yeah, so I'm pretty happy with that. So that is the Artus Shawl modified, and that took a couple of months to do. As you can see, that was a lot of knitting and very challenging in terms of, I had to do the numbers, and also very challenging in terms of a new process for me, or a new method of knitting for me. So that was really good. So I think... Excuse me, coughing. It is going to be a thing. I'm sorry about that. I think that is... Oh, my cup of tea's got hair. Got wool in it. Brought to you by Bog Standard Tea, Yorkshire. You can get Yorkshire in Melbourne, and you can get Yorkshire in New Zealand too. So let's talk about whips. I've been a bit crazy. I've got all the things cast on. So I've still got my husband's husband's jumper. Haven't touched that. That's the fully cabled thing all over. I'm going to leave that till I get back in June. I'll get back here, and I've got 3 days here, and then I go to New Zealand, and we're in New Zealand for a couple of months. I think I'll take that with me then. And I've got another jumper I've got planned. I haven't got the yarn yet, but we know the yarn, we know the colours, we know the pattern. And I'm doing a jumper for my mum. So I'm really looking forward to that. I'll tell you about that later. But in terms of actual whips, so what do we want to do? Do we want to go... We can go little to big. We can go craft-based, i.e. knit, crochet, spinning. Or we can go, I don't know. All right, let's just pick up something. Okay, so socks. I'm doing socks for me, socks for my sister, and socks for my niece. And I will be seeing my sister and my niece in about a week. So excited. 9 days. And about a year, 18 months ago, she brought me some Shirley Bryan yarn. I had asked her to get it. And anyway, she went and brought herself some and said, could you knit me a pair of socks and knit my daughter a pair of socks? So my niece. So I did. So I've now done tubes, and I've been asking them for a little bit of time for their heel measurement, and they haven't sent it to me. So I don't have heels yet, but I do have in each little bit, I've got the leftovers ready for the heel in each sock, in each tube. And same again in here. I've probably got way too much yarn I've left, but the socks are long enough. That's that one. You can see I did them top, bottom, what are they? Toe, no, not toe up. Oh, toe down, whatever it is. My brain. So, and then this is my sister's pair. So that was my niece's pair. This is my sister's pair. And I am currently here on the second one. So I better get a scoot along because I've got a week to knit that. Just realised that. So I'm going to have to do that. And then the other thing I started was one pair for me. And these I'm doing the DRK Everyday Socks. I haven't tried those previously. They look very skinny, but they do, I like a firm sock. I don't like a slouchy sock, and I have tried them on and they do fit. Look at that. Looks terrible. But anyway, it does fit, and I'll show you them when I finish the second one. So I think I marked every 20 rows, and then I marked, I actually don't know why I marked that one. So that'll be interesting when we get to the second one. So I've tried to use markers more so I have a sense of what I'm doing when I get back to it, because it's often months between. So the socks will be finished in the next 3 weeks. Or at least 2 pair of them will be. And I'll take them with me overseas and get a bit of sock knitting done. So that's those. The other one that I started just on the weekend, I'm watching Two Pearls in a Pod, their knitting podcast. They're 2 Melbourne girls, Paige and Sarah. Anyway, Paige is knitting very cute booties. And so whilst I was watching, I found the pattern I cast on and I cast off. So basically, this one, what happens is you do that, and you do that, and then that goes underneath and gets sewn up, and you've got little beauties. Oh, they're so cute. What I quite like is they're made on 3.75, I think it was. Yeah, 3.75 needles. And I'm just using my Gilliatt leftovers. So I've got lots of leftovers, so I have a little bit of fun with those. That'll be good. So that's another whip. I've got a heap of these little tiny whips. There is one that I haven't worked on for a while, but I thought I'd show you. Because some of you are in the Northern Hemisphere and you're heading into spring, summer, or you're in spring. And this is stabbing it. This is a Tolsta Tee. It's very crunched up. I should do more on it actually. It's the Tolsta Tee by Clow from the creabea, and I'm doing this just in knitting for olive silk. It's the pure silk, barrera silk. I think Selma from Little Big Knits has just finished a top in the knitting for olive silk, and this is the colour olive. And I think I had 4. I'm not sure. I'll weigh it at the end. But that's my last ball. So what I think I'll do, it won't have sleeves. I mean, it'll basically just got to be ribbon finished off, is I'll do the finish off the sleeves once I've finished this ball. And I think I've probably got about that much more to do. And I think the one ball will be fine. I should take that. I wonder whether I should take that with me too. I haven't told you where I'm going yet. And that's in my, and I don't have many project bags. Most of my project bags are packing cubes. So that's what I use, packing cubes for most of my projects. But this is a beautiful bag from Loom and Spindle, which is local to me here in Australia. They're just about to close their bricks and mortar store, but they will be staying open online. But they have some beautiful Australian fabrics, and I really like that project bag. I'm not big on project bags, so I'm not actually actively working on that, but actually now I've pulled that out, I'm quite keen to maybe do a bit more on it, although I have a lot of stuff going. So, yeah. It's not good. Anyway, no. I'm not going to judge it. It's not that it's not good. It's occasionally a bit overwhelming. That's probably a better way to put it. But that's my choice, isn't it? So that's fine. So the other big project I've been working on over the last couple of months has been a crocheted blanket that I got inspired to do by Kaz Hall. So online she is Insomnia Crochet, I think. She's mainly on Facebook. She is a beautiful soul. She did all this blanket for free on her cowl. So she often does a couple of times a year, once or twice a year, she does a cowl. And I followed her for a long time, and her crochet is just so colourful and so beautiful. And so I've been doing, it's just an acrylic blanket. And when I was in New Zealand, I started doing that. And I'm doing part, so the first part was 2 rounds. I'm doing 1, 2, 3, part 4. I think there's part 5 and a joining. So I think they'll have one more round and then a joining round. So there are 17 colours. I'll just put a little picture up here as to where I'm at. And that's going to be so much fun. I did swap out the colours, so I'm not going to get the colour wash that she got, but I sort of don't mind. I sort of am really happy with whatever I end up with. It's just so much fun and so colourful and so rhythmic. So that's the Boho Rainbow Blanket cowl. And you can get her pattern now as a paid pattern on Ravelry. Very economical. There should be no complaints about that. But I'm doing that. And that just sits up on my, sort of got a bit of a system now. I've got them all on big pins, and basically all pinned to the next colour that I'm going to use. And I just take a ball and a pin and a group of pin things and my crochet hook, and I do that round. So it's not hard. I tend to work on it in fits and starts, so I haven't done anything probably for the last week and a half, but then I would have done a whole lot. So, and it often sits, and then when I finish the rounds, I do all the ends for that round, and I'll procrastinate for a week or two, and then I'll do all the ends in 2 nights, and I'll procrastinate for a week or two, and then I'll resort them all according to the pattern as to what's next. So it tends to just happen sort of over time. But yeah, okay, what's next? Okay, we're getting down to really current active whips now. So this is stuff I'm working on every day. Oh, there's the sock. And it's a terrible project bag because the needles just poke straight out, but it was all I could find in a hurry the other day. So that's what I've done so far of my sisters. So I'll take that with me today, and that's going to get knit on because I've just realised that's under pressure. Okay. So, the other thing I did. Sorry about the disappearing all the time. I don't have a table. I bought a Cordsmith. From Handmaiden in New Zealand, and my darling, our eldest grandson decided he could do it. Look, Lala, I'm doing it. And he's now, this is just impossible. What has he done? Oh, my Lord. Okay, we're getting there. Yay! Woohoo! So this is a Cordsmith, and I'm really happy with it. And about 4 days ago, I could have shown you a whole ball of Icord. But what we did on the weekend was I used them all and I cut them up and created little bracelets for my 5-year-old grandson's loot bags for his birthday. It was his birthday, and I'll pop them up here. And he, I'll put this in a way that's not going to jag. Beautiful. I'm really enjoying that. I think there's lots of options for it. If you look #Cordsmith, you'll see lots of options. I see people creating cord that they're then crocheting into big mats or sewing together or using elsewhere in projects, and it's a bit of fun. I'm really enjoying it. So I don't do it very often, and I had a whole ball of it. Like I had a ball this big of it where I just clicked for half an hour, and as I say, I've just used them all. So that's nice. It's nice that I get to use it. It's just some old acrylic I was practicing on. So that was a lot of fun. And okay, I can see a lot of spinning stuff down here, and I will do that. But what I'll do down the bottom, there'll be timelines, and if you don't want to see any spinning stuff because you're just not interested, I was not interested 15 years ago, and I've really got into it. So if you want to skip that bit, you can see on the timeline, I'll put the time stamps below, and you can skip forward if you don't want to do that. But I've got 3 more whips. Yep, 3 more whips. So one of the whips, which I can't see here. Okay, yep. No, I still can't see it, but I think it's out on the bench. So the other day on Instagram, I saw a call out for people to knit and crochet bandages. And in the Philippines, there is a clinic, a Hansen's clinic, which is leprosy, and they like to use reusable bandages. It just works really well with the clients they have. They sterilize them, and basically we knit and crochet them until they're 4 feet long. So 48 inches. I don't know what that is in metric. Anyway, it's 48 inches. You can Google the difference, and you can see that's my halfway mark there. And I've got a bit to go. Yeah, so there's knitters and crocheters and machine knitters all over the world, and in the Philippines making these. This one I'm doing on woolly knit fingering cotton. So there are very specific yarns. Must be cotton. It must be a thread like cotton. There's specific yarns if you're in the US, if you're in Australia, if you're in the Philippines, if you're generally overseas. Essentially it's a number 10 crochet thread, which is pretty lace weight. This one is probably on the thickish side, but I think it's going to be okay, and I'll get some feedback from them when I send them over. This one's pretty close to my heart because we have a business in the Philippines and we go there every year, or most years. There's a couple of years we haven't been in the last 8. But we've probably been 5 or 6 trips to Manila, and we've got very good friends in Manila, and I really like the fact I have that connection. So I did say to the lady May, who is running the group, that I was happy to coordinate in Australia and New Zealand, and that if people post their bandages to me, I will work to get them to the hospital in Manila. So at the Philippines General Hospital, Dr. Beran, I've forgotten her name. Yeah, so I'll put some pictures up here of what people are doing and of them receiving their the bandages. It's really a very new charity knit. May is just getting started on it. They're experimenting. They've now got the bandage information on Ravelry. I'll link to my Ravelry projects. I've got to get my crochet project up. Actually, I'll just nick out and see if I can find my crochet one. Oh. I know they're using Monaco 3-ply in the Philippines. Whoops, this is my crochet one. It is on the thickish side of the thread again, but I think it'll be all right. And that's 1 foot. So I've got 4 of those to do. So I'm hoping they're going to be okay. That's quite a thick bandage. I'm hoping it's going to be okay, but I will work to get some smaller thread in the next little while and see if I can go a little bit finer. So I'm working it on a 2mm hook. Some people have found it a bit difficult, but if you're used to crocheting at small apertures, then I'm sure you'll be fine. It's a 3-inch wide. It's got to be 3 inches wide and 4 feet long. So I just got to have some stretch in it. But if you are interested and you do research, I've got all the links. I'll put all the links below, and you can go and work it out. You can see lots of examples, lots of videos on how stretchy it's got to be, how it looks. They're quite strict on the 3 inches. They're quite, they'd like a good tension, so not too wholly. And you'll see lots of examples where they've said, no, rip it back, needs to go down a hook size or down a needle size or up a needle size or not stretchy enough or whatever. So if you're interested, I'd love to be in touch, and please message me below or message me on Instagram or Facebook. And I think it's the Knits by May group on Facebook, but I'll put all the details down below. And there's no deadline on it. They'll be needing bandages indefinitely, and they sterilize them, reuse them, and just have a reusable source is a really good thing. So that's one of the projects that I've been doing over the last couple of weeks and getting going on that. The last project, I've got 2 more projects. So in chronological order, sorry, I've got 2 stacked on top of each other here. I decided to cast on a Milton cardigan by Rhue Locatelli. And it sort of has the vibe of the Elton cardigan. But it's, so hers is fingering weight with a mohair. Mine, I'm doing a Holst yarn fingering weight, Holst Super Soft fingering weight, which is the dark stripe. And then the light stripe is very fine. It's a lace weight, and it's a old cashmere cone. So for $10 Australian, I got a cone of this cashmere, which I think is like a textile leftover, like from making textiles. doesn't it? Don't even know what it, like, I don't know any provenance of it at all. But I'm using some, so I did the Holst cone I used to make my, what's it called? The one I did for test knit with the, held with the mohair. Oh God, it's brain dead. No, it's gone. I'll put it down here. Anyway, so I'm using that to do the Milton. I won't do it as long as the Milton that she did. She did it more sort of coat length, but I'll just do it as more as a cardigan. I've done that much below the sleeve, and it's gonna be, I think it's gonna be really nice. I think I'm gonna use a lot. I think it needs a good block. I think when it's blocked, it'll but it's slow. It's really slow, which is fine. I don't have a problem with that. It's on 3.5mm needles. So that's just ticking away. I do a couple of, what I do is a couple of rows here and a couple of rows there, and every 16 rows I increase at the side, so it's slightly A-line, but it's just ticking away, really. What I probably need to do is stop, and the thing is I normally stop at the end of a ball or end of a skein and do the sleeves, but the problem is I'm on cones, so I think once I get to maybe when I get to the next increase, I'll stop and I'll actually do the sleeves, because then I'll have a better sense of where it's got to finish on my body. And I often do that. I often go back and do collars and sleeves before I finish the body, because, I don't know, Sleeve Island is not attractive. And then the last couple of weeks I got completely distracted. I sort of said to myself, you're not casting on, you're not buying anything to cast on. So if you're going to cast on, you have to cast on from this, which is absolutely, completely okay. And that's not including what's over there and what's over there. So I decided, I got completely distracted and loved the Emery Vest that Rhue had also put out. And so I have had a lot of fun over the last week or two. Sorry, I'm halfway through a row. And that's the back of knitting that. So that is the back down to the bottom of the sleeves. Yeah, until where it joins. And you can see on the front. So if I go by diamonds, big diamonds, I've got 2.5 diamonds on the back. So I've got about another 1.25 diamonds to do. I'm about halfway down. So I've got a bit more to do. And then we join in the round. Easy peasy. But this is another one. I think once I join in the round, I'll break the yarn. I'll do the collar just so I know where it's sitting, and I'll do the bindings on the sleeve, on the arms last, but just get the collar done. I think really happy with that. Oh no, don't be silly. Yeah, so the Emery Vest. So that's in stash. So that's Holst being held double. This one, Holst yarn being held double in the colourway Dark Apple. Yeah, colourway Dark Apple. And Drops Kid Silk. I don't know what colourway. That's in my Ravelry project, which I haven't done yet, which I'll do before I publish this. So, yeah, I had it all left over and I thought, right, that's stash. I'm happy to use that. So that's what I'm going to do. the whips are done. So as you can see, I had a bit of cast-on-itis. Sort of got a bit distracted. Life's been very crazy, very hectic, very tiring. And I have got the concentration of a newt. I had 6 weeks where I was really sick, and probably 4 weeks where I was really sick, and then 2 weeks recovering. And then that's when I did the blanket. So the blanket got done while I was sitting in bed in New Zealand, which was very frustrating, incredibly frustrating. I think the biggest thing that was frustrating was I just got into a really good rhythm of walking 3 times PT a week. Yeah, I felt really strong, and then I haven't done things since. It's like, anyway, we just keep going, and I'm very privileged that I had the opportunity to try again, so that's fine. So the last thing I want to talk to you about is, well, from a craftual perspective, is spinning. That's a rabbit hole. So I have been doing spinning, and I think I told you, I think I would have told you last time that I'd been doing lots of spinning, and I think I said I'd done this. It's but ugly, but anyway, that's okay. But then I went further and I did this, and I did this, and I've done the swatch. Actually, I'm very happy with it. So this is Romney, and I've done this on the Ashford e-spinner. Okay, and there's that, and then there's that one. That's a chain ply, chain ply. So I did all that before I left New Zealand, plus this one. That was my very first one. I think I showed you that one. That was my second one. And then I did all this. And then I bought some more tally-ho yarn, which was Romney again. And it was an over-dyed Romney. And it looks like this. So I've been doing this long draw on the learning long draw on the, which is a method of pulling the yarn out and what they call drafting, on my Ashford e-spinner, which I've used a lot here, and so squishy. So I've got another one full over there of this, and I've still got more to spin. So I don't know how much I'm going to get out of it, but what I'm going to do is record everything that I produce, so I know what weight it is, how it was produced, and what it is, and what length of yarn I've got. So I've sort of gone down a rabbit hole. I've been buying yarn. Oops, that's not what I want. And I've been spinning. Oh my gosh. So I've tried to do these little tags. They're a byproduct from a folding box end thing that we do for my kids and their business. And I'm actually going to 3-ply these and see what happens. So this is 100 grams each one. These two are DHG fibres from, and I've just got those from Lumen Spindle. And this is a Sally Ridgway colourway in Plum Pie, and I've done them as a worsted spin singles, just smoothed singles, so they're quite different in the way I've spun those, and I really enjoyed spinning that. I have bought fibre. I'll put a picture in here. I'm trying not to buy too much and get too far ahead of myself, but it's hard. And the other thing I've got into is spindles and spindle spinning. And so this is my first spindle, and it's a Ravelry, and it's full at the minute. and that's the blue Murit overdyed from Tally Ho that I've been spinning long draw, and I've really enjoyed that incredibly so much. And then my latest spindle is a little Laird of the Bearded Dragon, and it has peridot inlay, and it spins beautifully. It's bad. You can't spin it on your own hand. So, and my husband thinks I'm completely bonkers. Completely bonkers. Why would you do it? And I'm like, well, everybody has fidget spinners and like doom scrolls on their phone and that. And I think, well, why not? Better than sitting watching TV. And if I am watching TV, at least I'm productive. I got a thing about being productive. I don't know whether it's a problem, but whatever. Trying not to overthink about it. But really enjoying that. It can be used as a drop spindle as well as a supported spindle, although I have to still work out how that is best used. So that's a new one, but I am looking forward in June, possibly. I'm not sure when. I'm going to go to a fibre festival in June in Christchurch and in New Zealand, and then I want to be back here to go to the Bendigo wool show in July, mid-July. So I have planned my trips around those. So yeah, so that's my latest hobby. More wool production. Oh no, I'm gonna have to have a de-stash, I think. Anyway, that's all right. I think I'm doing okay. So look, let's take just 5 minutes to find out excitingly what's going to happen. Over the next month, I am going to Canada. I'm going to the US, and I'll be away for about 3 weeks. And so in 10 days' time, I'm flying to Seattle. I'm then taking a train the next day up to see my sister. We're spending the weekend with her family, and then her and I are going to drive down from Vancouver back to Seattle, spend a couple of days in a cabin on an island, and how nice is that? And then I am joining the Grocery Girls tour on the cruise to Alaska. Believe that. Oh, so funny. Anyway, I've watched them probably for about 5 years, and the two other workshop people are Hohi Locatelli and the Tin Can Knits girls, Alexa and Emily. And I've just knit heaps and heaps and heaps of both of their things. So I'm beyond excited to be going. Going by myself, hubby's staying home, and yeah, how crazy. You should see the responses I get when I tell people I'm going on a knitting cruise. They're like, what? Anyway, you understand. I'm really excited. So I thought, okay, I have to get back on here. I have to share this trip. Look, I recognise my privilege, my luck in even getting a place, my privilege in terms of having the money to be able to go, and it's just a real treat, a real treat. So I've just been working on visas and accommodation and transport and all the bits and pieces. And over the next week, we've just got our homework. We're doing a drop shoulder cardigan design for your body workshop with Hohi. We're doing Strange Brew with Alexa and Emily. And we're doing socks with, I think we're doing socks with Jodie and Tracy. So I'll be looking up the next week what I need to do. I'll be getting sorted with all my documentation, and next Thursday I jump on a plane and fly a long way. I think I'll sleep, even though I'm sitting upright again. And yeah, no work trip here, unfortunately. And yeah, can't wait. Can't wait. Absolutely incredible. So the cruise is the Alaskan Passage. I think we go to Juneau, Sitka, we go up Stevens Passage, and I've got my binoculars. Any cruising recommendations you've got? I've never cruised before. I have in the past got seasick, but not on a big boat like that, because I've never been on a big boat like that. I do have an ocean view room, but not a veranda room, and because I'm on my own, it was just too expensive. And but I'm really pumped. I'm really excited. I'm not going to do any shore excursions. I'll go and have a wander and have a coffee and that sort of stuff. But honestly, I live in New Zealand. I've been to Iceland. I'm sure Alaska has some amazing things to see, but I just sort of would like to see them with family and friends rather than this is a bit different. This is, I think I'm going to get enough stimulation and enough stuff going on, meeting 90 knitters and people I really admire in the design world and that sort of knitting design world. So I think that's going to be enough for me. I'm trying not to overstimulate myself, and I'm coming off the back of a very, very tiring few weeks. So, and being sick. So I'm trying to pace myself and just really enjoy the time, enjoy the moment, enjoy the people, enjoy the opportunities. Hoping to get to Bainbridge Island, hoping to get to Spin Cycle in Bellingham, whether I buy anything or not, I don't know. Yeah, so I'm just really looking. Oh, I'm hoping to get to Sweet Georgia too, but we'll see. Maybe Bad Anna's, I don't know. But we'll just we'll see how things go, and I'm just going to take it easy and just get to know people. I think there's 5 Australians going. The time it was released was really good for Australians, because you could basically secure your spot and then pretty much get all your money back, or most of your money back, apart from a couple of $100 for the next month or two. So we all just took the risk and jumped on it. I am really glad I got on this one. I know it'll be their first, and I'm sure there'll be hiccups and different things that they figure out, you know, how to do better the next time. But I'm also just really excited to be going. I know there's a couple of designers going, there's a couple of dyers going on the trip. Yeah, just really looking forward to meeting lots of people, and I can't gush about it much more than that. So I'll try and do some little vloggy things, but I have no idea what I'll have the opportunity to do and not do. At worst, you'll see me afterwards and I'll tell you all about it. But I just thought I'd get back on. I see we're at 1 hour and 3. I think that's absolutely enough for you. If you've had to pause, I completely understand. And yeah, we've just had a really busy time. My lovely daughter has fought through about 6 months of pain. She had PGP, which is pelvic girdle pain. I had it, I understand, 3rd child, and she has been an absolute warrior. Don't ever let anybody tell you that women are fragile or precious or to be kept safe or all that sort of stuff. We're absolute warriors. So she's done an amazing job. Our beautiful Bee's gorgeous. He's wonderful. His older brothers are adjusting well at this stage, although I'm sure they'll want to send him back in about a week or two. Their dad is exhausted. he's doing a champion job too, and we're really proud of them all. So I'm about to go up there and spend the day having snuggles and cleaning and doing washing and all that sort of stuff. So I'll get on with that, and hopefully this will go up in a day or two when I get a chance to edit and pop pictures in. Got to remember how to do it now. So I hope you're really well. Let me know your cruising tips. Let me know what you're knitting on, what you're working on. Are you doing any charity knitting? Are you knitting for anybody else? I didn't talk about my mum's sweater. That can be another time. Yeah, let me know what's happening in your world. You're coming into summer in the north and into winter in the south. So I hope you're safe and well, and you're doing okay. It's lovely to be back.
Make the right choice. Hope I make the right noise. Hoping that you like boys like me. I know you're feeling me from across the room. I got a feeling you could be my muse. I hear strange when I see you. You say green, but I see blue. Either way, your eyes the ones I'm looking to when I'm